you. So then, good morning, everyone. In the meditation session this morning, the same arrangement, really, that the first part of the meditation, focusing on the breath to bring the mind in the present moment, and then the main body of the meditation. We'll focus on how last week, where Geshe-la was completing the commentary on the third chapter, and there was emphasis placed there on extracting the essence of our human life, making use of our human life, our perfect human rebirth, if we have it, in the best possible way. So then meditation based around that subject. So then just to sit comfortably in a position that's conducive for you to have the mind focused, while at the same time remaining relaxed. And good even here, when we engage in the breathing meditation, to cultivate positive motivation for doing this. That we're not just simply doing it in order to have a relaxed mind in doing the breathing meditation, or simply to have the mind focused, but rather with the overall view that we want to make use of our life in the best possible way. To work towards lessening the tendencies that we have towards focusing merely on one's own welfare, trying to moderate this attitude and trying to develop a more expansive attitude that incorporates the well-being of all beings. So then the idea here is to focus the mind in order to try to generate that state of mind. So then you have a method then that you use to focus the mind, then to employ that method. Otherwise, you can just simply observe the breath as it comes in and as it flows out again, and try to maintain an awareness of the sensation of the air coming in, coming out. And at the same time also have this alertness of mind that is aware of when the distractions arise and isn't swept away by these. Just to note them and then to bring the mind back to the breath. So then we just continue like this for the first part of the meditation session. So then just to move on now to the main body of the meditation. And as I mentioned earlier, that last week, I think it was Wednesday, the conclusion of Geshe-la's commentary on this third chapter, of the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, there was emphasis placed on reflecting on our fortunate life circumstance, both in the commentary and Geshe-la's commentary on the commentary. And the importance of extracting the essence of this perfect human rebirth. If we have the perfect human rebirth, we certainly have a human life, and we would have some similitude to the possessing the 8 freedoms and 10 endowments, which constitutes the optimum conditions to be able to practice the Dharma, the perfect human rebirth. And extracting the essence, really the heart of, in Mahayana teachings, the heart of extracting the essence, the real meaning of this human life is to conduct one's life in a way which benefits others. And the emphasis placed here is having created the causes for our human life and then our perfect human rebirth, or something which very closely accords with the full 8 and 10, having the full 8 and 10, it'd be extremely foolish to not make use of it. Often said like, it's a precious vessel, this human life, a precious vase. And then to not make use of it in a proper way, to misuse it, to create negativity and so on, to waste it, is like using a precious vase to contain feces or vomit. But it is not so easy necessarily to engage in spiritual practice because the habits are so strong. Habits of self-cherishing are so strong. But we can have a look at our life, firstly from the point of view of recognizing how fortunate we are to be free from certain circumstances, that if we were in those circumstances, we would not have the freedom to be able to practice Dharma. So then, to imagine what it's like if you really had a mind that was characterized, the mind was conditioned totally by desire, attachment, energy, that didn't know any other way of happiness or fulfillment. There was no happiness apart from fulfilling craving, desire. No space within a strongly attached mind to develop loving kindness towards others. So imagine what it's like, how it is if you go to the beach and there's a rock, it's a rocky beach, and you have the limpet, like this shellfish, which adheres to a rock. And if you try to remove that shellfish from the rock, it just adheres more strongly It only knows that rock and it can't separate it away. And in that state, that there's no light that can come in to that shellfish. And then also when it's clinging, there's no light that can go out. So likewise, some people's minds, we all go through similar, we go through this state of mind, but it be perpetually like this, that you're always clinging, attachment. Even though it makes you unhappy, you can't stop it. And so in that state of mind, you have no space to give light or love to others. And there's no space to experience the blessings of the Dharma. Your mind can't open up. There's no openness to the understanding of Dharma. So we're fortunate somehow we've created space in our mind at different times, and maybe a lot of the time, to know the world in another way apart from attachment. Think of those people, some of those people every day go to the shopping centre, these vast shopping centres. They become like their temple, and they don't know any other happiness apart from this, to buy things, to buy objects, to go and sit down and have something to eat, to have hot chips with ice cream, like this, then go and see a movie. It may be like this one day after another. Or alcohol and drugs. So somehow we have created the space in our mind to understand the language of Dharma. Extremely fortunate. Then also there's certain circumstances, people are born into places where they have a tendency for anger and hatred. Maybe they're born with that habit. Maybe they're born into a place where they're taught from an early age to hate others, the other group of people. Maybe they see the world. There's some people who see the world through the injustices they've experienced in this life. They see themselves as a victim. And their life history is one of embitteredness because this person did that to me and that person did this to me. And then always seeking justice. So how much freedom do you have in that situation to generate a kind, forgiving, generous mind, compassionate mind for all beings? So we're fortunate the conditions have come together that we understand the language of Dharma. We're inner beings, become inner beings that understand that the source of happiness is within the mind, the source of unhappiness is within the mind. And our business is about the cultivation of positive qualities in our mind and the abandonment of the negative ones. And then there are other beings, human beings, who are almost like animals from the point of view they never question. Their mind is conditioned by a dullness. They accept things just as they are, the world as it is. Never question. Never seek. Never try to find an understanding. And then, in a sense, they become slaves to the conventions of that society. Like a horse or some animal its job is to turn. It turns this grinding wheel that's used to grind grain. So it's hooked up to that. And the horse just goes round and round and round like this, crushing the grain, never questioning, head down, just keeps going day after day after day. Live life like that. Like an animal. So somehow we've created the space in our mind and give priority even to these teachings, maybe making sacrifice, financial sacrifice in order to attend these teachings. Because we see the priority in the life is the Dharma. Then also our life, we have a human life, and with a human life it means you have body, speech and mind. You use your body to benefit others, a speech to benefit others, intelligence to sense where others are and develop a sensitivity to them. It's a blessed kind of rebirth. And then we have some kind of level of conviction in the teachings. We have faith, conviction in the value of inner practice. We're blessed to some degree by a conviction in the spiritual path of Mahayana Buddhism. Then also we have a fortunate circumstance that due to various factors, the manifestation in the world of bodhisattvas, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Yeshe, Lama Zopa, come into the world out of the passion, compassion and prayer, not out of karma and affliction, dedicated to the welfare of others. And from their inspiring contact, then the centres have been established in the world, in Australia, like Chenrez's Institute. We have this fortune, good fortune to meet this, to have this oasis of the Dharma at Chenrez's Institute, with an understanding that this place has come about as a result of the kindness of others. The people who donated the land, all those who came before us, who were responsible for working here, donating time and money and so on to create this place. And then the invitation, the teachers, like our Geshe Sutram, and translator, Yaki, and then the program as well here of Buddhist studies. We have Kathy, who's taken responsibility for coordinating that. Oh, so we're extremely fortunate. And as it says in the commentary then, how best to use this life, then how to extract the essence. Is to do what's necessary to purify the mind. Of the unconducive conditions for spiritual practice, the afflictions and the karma, and then to cultivate the positive conditions for the development of the mind, to create the merit in order to cultivate the mind of bodhicitta. So if we're able to do this with our life, we are really extracting the essence, the purpose of our existence. As Lama Zopa said, the purpose of our existence is to be of benefit to others. And the possibility of it, as we engage in spiritual practice, as it works on our mind, possibility of being able to dedicate our life joyfully for the benefit of others. So then just to dedicate whatever positive results from meditating in this way, in order to be able to extract the essence of this human life by tuning into the teachings today and trying to apply the principles within this text to our life so as best to be able to accomplish the welfare of ourselves and others. Okay, so thank you.